Hello. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to do first and second differences. So here we've got our equation y equals negative 2 squared minus 4x plus 4. I'm actually just going to increase the size of that just a touch. There we are. All right, so we pick some random points for x. It doesn't really matter what points we pick for x, but I choose ones that are around zero, smaller numbers, just because then we get smaller numbers for our answer. So I use negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So what I do is I sub in negative 2 for x into my equation. So negative 2 squared will become 4. 4 times negative 2 will be negative 8. Minus 4 times negative 2, which is going to be positive 8. So negative 8, positive 8, that's going to cancel out. Plus 4 equals 4. So what I'm doing is I'm subbing in my x point, solving for y, and that's how I get these numbers here. Now, if we're already given that, then what we want to know for first differences is for every change in x, so when x increases by 1, what's the change in y? How much is y changing by? So for first differences, well, let's increase that font size here. Let's do, there we go. So we're going to be looking at what happened. Let's change that again. There we are. First differences, and that's our delta y here, the change in y. This is going to be our first differences. So what we do is we start with our second y point. So in that case, that's 6. And we're going to subtract that from the previous y value. So 6 minus 4, and that's going to equal 2. Then we'll do the next one. We'll go down one more. So 4 minus 6. And that's going to equal minus 2. And we keep going down doing the same pattern. Minus 2 minus 4 is the next one. Minus 2 minus 4. And that's going to equal minus 6. Minus 12 minus minus 2. So minus 12 minus, in brackets, minus 2. This is going to change that to a positive 2. So that's like minus 12 plus 2. So that's going to be minus 10. And then finally we have minus 26 minus 12. So once again, that minus minus is going to change to a positive. So minus 26 plus 12 is going to be minus 14. So let me just put those in real quick here. So I can go here. My first differences was 6 minus 4, which was 2. Then I did 4 minus 6, which was negative 2. Whoops. And then I did minus 2 minus 4, which gave me minus 6. Minus 12 minus minus 2, which gave me minus 10. And minus 26 minus minus 12, which gave me minus 14. There we go. All right, so that's my first differences. Now, I'm going to repeat this process again for my second differences. So my second differences, and actually, you know what? I'm going to put that up here just for ease. We're going to call this second differences. And for second differences, we're doing the exact same process, but what we're doing now is we're finding the change in our first differences. So in this column now. So here we do the same process. It's going to be minus 2 minus 2. So we're going to have minus 2 minus 2, and that's going to equal minus 4. Then we'll do minus 6 minus minus 2. So minus 6 minus minus 2 is going to equal minus 4. Minus 10 minus minus 6 minus 10 minus minus 6 equals minus 4. And finally, minus 14 minus minus 10 is going to equal minus 4. So our second differences are all the same. And I'm just going to draw that in. Let me select a different color here. Oh, perfect. So minus 2 gave us minus 4. So minus 2 minus 2. Now the next one, minus 6 minus minus 2. So that's like minus 6 plus 2. And we worked out that once again, we're going to get minus 4. Minus 10 minus minus 6 is like minus 10 plus 6. So that's going to be minus 4. And minus 14 minus minus 10 is like minus 14 plus 10. And once again, that's going to give us minus 4. Now, what's really cool about first and second differences is if our first differences were all the same number, that tells us we have a linear equation. In this case, we don't have a linear equation because we have different values for our first differences, but our second differences are all the same value. And if our second differences are the same value, then we have a quadratic relation. So in this case, we have a quadratic relation. So just to recap that real quick, first differences are all the same. Then we have a linear relation. When second differences are all the same, we have a quadratic relation. And if your first or second differences are all different, so your first differences all have different numbers and your second differences have all different numbers, then it's neither a linear or a quadratic relation. Hope that helps.